guys, and welcome back to the wonderful world of flight simulation. And today we're taking this beautiful Cessna 185 for a short little trip. We're heading up from Glacier Creek Airport, where we are now, with a couple of climbers who've been hiking in the mountains behind us, and we're flying them back to the Ultima Thule Lodge, which is one of the laps of luxury up here in kind of upper, lower Alaska. You know, right at the tip of what you call Southern Alaska, just above the Denali Range. And we are going to be flying them back. So we are right now going to get ourselves set up for flight and get ourselves ready to go here. So let's make sure avionics are off before we do this. So battery is on, our beacon is on, set our fuel in, we're good to go with that. Knock the cowls open a little bit just for some heat dispersion. Fuel pumps on. And before we do that, of course, outside the plane, we're going to pull our chocks, pitot covers, and prop covers. Let's give it a few bursts of primer. Engine's pretty cool. And we're going to go for start. Okay. A little bit of throttle to keep the engine alive. Let's turn on our avionics. We've already got the multicom frequency set, which is the local area kind of comms. We don't have Unicom for this airport because there's a lot of small airfields. They use a multiple frequency. So this is the whole area. So, alternator on. Fuel pumps on for takeoff. Nav lights on before we move. Taxi lights. And takeoff has all been going in. There's literally one on each side of the nose, so they're useful to keep on. Okay, so tail wheel is currently unlocked. Flaps are set to 0. We'll give ourselves a notch of flaps for takeoff. Otherwise, we should be good to go. As far as my checklist goes, transponder is on. We are looking good. We'll do our mag checks whilst we're actually sat here, actually. Look at our RPM as it comes up. Just 2600, 2800, 700. Definitely a fuel drop. Okay. We're good in that regard. So, make sure we plugged our suction cup to our little GPS unit on there. We're not going to use it much, but I like seeing it in the plane. So, everything is good to rock and roll. Outside air temperature today is about 14, no need for pitot heat. So once we've got our people on board, our team of hikers, we're going to get departing now for Ultima Thule Lodge. It's in a short flight, about 30 miles. We head past May Creek Airport, down the river, past Bear Island, and we land at the lodge. Should be that simple. And it's absolutely stunning scenery out here today. Look at those mountains behind us. That is gorgeous. Oh yeah. Okay, so what's my number? November 9323 November multicom. Departing runway 29er Glacier Creek Airport, bound for Ultima Thule Lodge. There's no traffic around here, so we'll just advise them of what we're doing rather than taxi, because there is no actual parking areas, there's no anything else than this gravel runway. Don't expect other planes to even be in the area. Okay, let's stop there. We're lined up. Lock that tail wheel for us. We'll put our yoke back on, we'll turn off the taxi light, and we are good to rock and roll. So, without further ado, let's get this beast in the air. Yokes forward to get our tail wheel up ASAP. Give us visibility on the downhill runway, because this is a sloping gravel runway. Not too much in case you strike the prop, but we want to get our nose down so we can see where we're going. Being a tail dragger and going downhill. And we are up. Nice and simple. Throw a bit of trim in there. We're positive. Flaps up. Fuel pumps off. We've got good fuel flow. It's a little clunky outside, I think, with the wind. There's quite a bit of turbulence off the mountains. We're getting rattled around here. Whoa, hello. Okay, let's knock this down. Why is my manifold not moving? That's concerning. Oh no, it is. Why have I got 2 manifold pressure gauges? That's weird. Let's knock ourselves down to about 2300 RPM. Oh, we're definitely getting a little bit of turbulence right now. We're at 2500 feet, so we'll go from our rich mixture down to kind of a richish. Keep an eye on our EGT. No real effect at this altitude. We are getting clunked around like nobody's business. So we head out the valley we're in, take a left down, heading more due south, follow it down to the Big Bear River, and we should be good to go. Okay, so absolutely beautiful flying out here today. And the river below us, once again, Orbeck, Southern Alaska, is stunning compared to what Flightsim can be. Really makes your experience a lot more fun, as we are going to try and see where we're going. Really glad I've got my yoke set back up again, and my now actually managed to get us another throttle quadrant. I have the Cessna Pro Flight, well, the Cytec Pro Flight one, of course, which is more Piper style, but considering I like to fly twins, I can have 2 of them, unlike the Cessna one from Cytec, which is the plungers you see there. Less practical for twins. Okay, low ceiling. We're going to drop down below this. Just keep ourselves visual. But as I was saying, what equipment do I use? Well, I use the Cytec Cessna rudder pedals, which are shaped like an actual Cessna pedals. And I have the Cytec Cessna yoke. Why? Well, the default ProFlight yoke that Cytec sell, or now Logitech sell for Cytec, is a good yoke. It just only has 45 degrees of travel each direction, so 90 total. 45 left, 45 right. And the real airplane yoke has 90 each side, so 180 total, which is exactly what the Cessna yoke has, making it much more practical and more realistic. So little movements don't affect the plane as much, and you can be a lot more smooth. Alright, let's keep an eye on where we're going. So the river turns down here. We're at that kink now. So the kink is where we are heading due south almost. I believe to just about here. I'll have to keep my eyes on the valley. I think it could be past there actually, based on what I'm looking at. Looking at our charts before the flight. I know once we get to the big river, we're good. We'll pass May Creek somewhere down below us, probably to our right in a few. So if we look there, there's the big kink in the river. Look at that bulge just below us. So if you look in here, that's where we came out of. We've got these 2 forks. We came out of the valley there, down here and round. We've got the corner in the river here. And May Creek should be somewhere around there. Let's keep ourselves focusing on what we're meant to be doing, not looking at the scenery. That's flying the aeroplane. Especially seeing as it is quite choppy out today. So we want to be heading kind of roughly due south. So we'll just swing ourselves around. Oh, it's choppy. You guys can't feel just how choppy it is, but you can hear the aeroplane rattling in the turbulence. We're not going to miss our target, so if we head due south, we're going to come across the glacier. Once we get to the glacier, we turn south, or down, kind of more eastbound down it. Look for Big Bear Island. And then we have our destination. The lodge is just to the north of the island, so it should be nice and simple for us. There we go. So that's May Creek, just below us. And that'll be May Creek, the actual river. There. And there's the airport. So we're bang on target for where we're headed to. A lot of the time up in the bush, all you've got is VFR. You've got to know the area, the major routes. Rivers will be one of your navigational aids because they're consistent. I mean, sure, they change over time in terms of the actual layout on the ground, but roughly the same valleys they follow, different forks in those rivers. They're your roadmap up in Alaska. There's no roads to follow, so VFR is a lot more of a basic principle of knowing the geography, knowing what valleys you're heading down, looking for certain glaciers, mountains, valleys. And in this case, it allows us to navigate very simply. Like I said, beautiful terrain. Considering Flightsim X first came out in 2006, what Lockheed Martin and P3D have done to the Flightsim base engine, and what you can do with things like the Orbex scenery and the Coronado aeroplanes, other developers, Orbex, PMDG, A2A, there is a wealth out there that makes this a whole new game. And yes, I have seen the trailer for Flight Simulator 2020. Like Frugal Sim, I am holding my breath because I'm nervous about certain aspects of it. Will it be something that shuts off support for P3D? Will it be something that, if they don't succeed with it, will they shut it down and shut down the servers like they did with Flight, with its significant dependence on the Azure AI and the nav data, satellite data? If they shut their servers down, will it just stop working? Will we be forced off it? Will it basically kill Flight Simulator if they do that? Because if they, like they could, shut down P3D with it, because they could have said to Lockheed, we don't want you guys marketing this as an academic product anymore. Will that be the end of things? You never know. Okay, so this should be the river below us here. We've passed our second valley. This big moor over there is our location. So of course, if you look over to our right, you've got the rest of the valley, the river winding down. To our east, the river starts to widen out where the glacier is, or the frozen river is in the winter. We should see Big Bear Island just about down here, and that will lead us to our location. And we shouldn't be too far away now. Surprised at how short this one's been. I mean, we are rocking along at about 140 knots right now with the tailwind, because our tailwind is coming from about 10-15 knots from about here. So, having turned downriver, we're picking up speed. I love Alaska so much. Look at this place. It's just so desolate. There's no roads, there's nothing in the way. It's just wild natural scenery. Absolutely phenomenal. So where is Big Bear Island? As far as I can tell, should be fairly obvious in the middle of the river. That could be it ahead. I'm thinking that might be Big Bear Island. There's quite a bit of river to fly before we get there. Yeah, that would be Bear Island ahead of us. So the lodge should be just parallel with that spit of land. Or the sediment brought down from the mountains with the glaciers and the snow melts, carried into the rivers, making them very sediment loaded. Lots of little sandbars, tricky to navigate because they're always shifting. There's no real good channel maps to these rivers because every summer the bars of gravel and sand shift. So they're good for landing bush planes on because you always have pretty decent sandbars and gravel bars, but They do vary. There we go. See, that's the island. Perfect indeed. Put that on. See, look how just much more stable the flight is already with the yoke. It's such a big difference. I mean, people using controllers, it can work for simming, but it's very imprecise and wobbly. Joysticks are okay. And if you're flying military aircraft that use a joystick by default, cool. But if you're flying something like this, where you've actually got, you know, a full 180 degrees on the actual yoke, it's the most realistic you can get. And the prices are reasonable. I think it's about 150, 130 for the Cytec, Logitech Cytec Cessna yoke. And if you are looking for a yoke, I highly recommend the Cessna model from Cytec. It is the best of the affordable ones. There are lots of very, very, very expensive options out there, but most of them are for flight training purposes if you're just going to be a simmer. Cytec works just great. Clamps to your desk and happy days. Of course, me having a big curved desk, a big L-shaped desk, I've got to mount my throttles on a little bracket I made under the desk, but that works just fine. So there's Bear Island. I wonder if there's bears on Bear Island. I'd hope there are bears on Bear Island. I feel that would be marketing rip-off if there wasn't. Okay. So the lodge should be down here, roughly, along this side of the coast. So we'll just head ourselves out towards Bear Island so we can see what's going on. Ultimate Thor Radio, November 9323, November for landing. Roger that, winds at 330, 15 knots. Through to November, clear for landing. Yeah, Ultimate Thor Lodge, November, 3-2 November. Yeah. Get the kettle on, I'm thirsty. Yeah, there we go, that'll be our lodge over there. Just off the northernmost tip. So we'll start our descent now. Yeah, we picked up a real lick of speed with the tailwind. So we should have enough room to land. Get us into exactly the right place that we want to be. And we'll come around, fly a left pattern and land on the runway, which is a slightly uphill grade and parallel to the river, which means it's perfect for us now with the tailwind. And that's one of those things with Alaska. Typically you'll find people building runways in the same direction of the valley, because 99.9999% of the time, if you're in a valley, the wind will be going the same direction as the valley. The valley's funnel it. So you're pretty much guaranteed it'll either be one way or the other. So building runways crossways across a valley is, well, not that good an idea. Also, it tends to take up space you don't have. There's the lodge. I do need a cup of tea, so we'll have to land soon. Get these climbers off, park the aeroplane, tidy it up for the night, go to bed, get some nice food, a cup of tea, relax by a fire, head back to Cordova in the morning. Next time these guys can pick up their own passengers. Yep, there's the Ultimate Thor Lodge, and there's our runway. Okie dokie, folks. Make sure your seatbelts are tightened and everybody's safe in the back there. We're going to be swinging ourselves around for landing in just a moment, and we'll have you on the ground in no time. So, hold on to your hats, or your cats, whichever you've got. Ultimate Thor Radio, 3-2 November. We're turning base for landing runway 27. Okay. Keep ourselves coordinated here. Couple of notches of flaps for landing. 3 to November for final. Clear to land 27, 3-2 November. We're a little high up here. Let's fix that. Side slip time. It's a glider move, but it works. It's definitely a glider move. But it's beast mode when you get it right. Well, we're on the grass beside the runway. It's all grass. Yeah, I was in a bit of a hurry to get us down there. Not something you'd see at the $100 hamburger GA clubs. But when your runway is essentially a large patch of grass, you land wherever you can, and if you're a steep on approach, you find a way of making it work. And we didn't actually touch down too hard there. Oh, I forgot to unlock the tail wheel. There we go. Okay, folks, we're down, so just wait to... God damn it. Just wait to get out the plane until I've shut the engine down and we are all good to go. Okay, we are all shut up and secured. Thanks for flying with Firekitten Airways. You guys can all have a nice day. Put our chocks covers and we'll tie down. And that is us parked up at Ultimathor Lodge for the day. And, well, a bit of a slightly sketchier landing than I would like to, but any landing you can walk away from, right? Yeah, that's not my cleanest, but you know what? Normally people go around there, not make it in. So I'll give myself a point for managing to come down from that high an altitude, in that tighter pattern, and put it in. Because when you've got airports that restrict you to the space you've got available to fly and land, sometimes you've got to throw those techniques in there. Plus, I've got to throw a bit of a side slip in there for fun. They're one of my favourite techniques for losing altitude without gaining speed and moving sideways. Very useful once you know how to do them. Anyway, thanks for flying with me today, guys. Bye.